As we all continue to navigate the tough terrain that is our reality today on planet Earth, few people realize that much of the source of their own anxiety, emotional trauma, and challenge may be due to a phenomenon that is non-physical, though connected to our planet. The idea of what is known as spirit attachment, though not readily discussed in conventional circles, is said by some to be a very real and complex challenge that humans face every day. Except for one thing. Most people don't know the problem even exists. Alternative researcher and spiritual medium Barry Littleton says the idea of some souls of the deceased hovering close to the earthly plane and wreaking havoc on humanity is a real problem for many unsuspecting individuals. But just how common is the idea of the earthbound dead attaching to that of living humans?
The phenomenon of earthbound souls is extremely common here on Earth. I would say that actually the earthbound spirit population rivals that of the living. So it's a real problem here, and there are layers. So that's one layer that needs to be addressed concerning people crossing over and the death process. This phenomenon is very much, it's very common, but not very well known or discussed, based on, I think, a lot of the fears that come connected to personal fears and also religion fears and the thought of ghosts. No one wants to believe in ghosts or haunted houses, things of that nature. So I think that's a way of ridiculing people and ridiculing their sanity, but it's also a way of dismissing this phenomenon and allowing it to become much more prevalent here on Earth and much more of a problem for people that are enduring hostile earthbound spirits, whether they be inside the energy field or outside the energy field. My experience with this phenomenon starts with being able to actually being able to perceive earthbound spirits or ghosts, as many people can. A lot of people turn it off, but it's something that definitely started me on that path. The next would be seeing them attached to people or encountering them stepping forward to me in some circumstances that was had to be dealt with. You can't just ignore that all the time and try to turn it off. I think a lot of us want to turn this off and try to act like it doesn't exist, when in fact it does, until one of our loved ones crosses over, or something of that nature. So that's the first way that I came to it. I also started studying hypnosis, and actually what hypnosis and the subconscious brings up as far as things that are integrated in our personality, with our personality. That's another thing that happened. And I didn't started studying hypnosis for that. I'd studied it for missing time concerning some other encounters I had that weren't with deceased people. So that's kind of what got me into this. And some of these things are connected together and not the separate classifications that we want them to be. Whether it be earthbound spirits, ghosts, demonic, UFOs, extraterrestrials. Some of these things are all on the left side of awareness, on that side where dreams are, where death is. Everything's on that left side of awareness. So it's important, I think, right now, at where we're at in humanity and in Earth's time, is to bring this to the light. People start knowing more about this, and more people doing the work, helping people cross over. I think it's very important for the average person to be aware of this, based on the traumas that we store in our body, based on how some of these traumas can be connected to earthbound spirits, how they can actually influence our lives, and in a detrimental way a lot of time. Because sometimes these things will affect our personality, our traits, and the traumas that we're holding within our body. We don't release those. It's important to do these things so that we don't actually attach earthbound spirits, join with earthbound spirits, and also learning about the death process itself when our loved ones go through it. What should we do when they're passing? How can we help that be a smooth transition, opposed to keeping them here and holding them here? That's another important thing. And another thing is, where do these type of encounters with earthbound spirits most happen? And how is it easiest to get attacked by one? This is a very important, because it's a very common, and these are things that can cause mental illness, trauma in the body, trauma in the life, various negative influences in our life. So that is, it's imperative to know these things. My method of protection against earthbound spirits is different in some ways than what we hear traditionally in New Age and other philosophies. As far as and all respect to that, there are many different ways to deal with these things, but my personal method entails using the cognitive behavioral approach, the same as cognitive behavioral therapy, which I did with youth and adults for many years in my professional life, and it's no different in some ways when dealing with earthbound spirits. The same principles still apply. What I want people to take away from this workshop is the ability to detect earthbound spirits, to know how they join with us, to know how they influence our life, and also how to protect yourself from them, how to protect your kids from them. The more we know about it, the more it circulates our population, our collective, the more it will raise the consciousness. We hear a lot of talk about that right now, ascending and raising of consciousness. So this occurs in several different ways. And this is something I want people to be able to take from this workshop, which is how to protect themselves and just how to be aware of how these things happen and how they influence our lives and how to see it in our loved ones or people in our life also, and maybe possibly be able to help.
Barry Littleton says, "The time has come for us all to learn the truth about this phenomenon. No holding back. But once known, is there anything that can be done to rid yourself of these unwanted attachments?" Barry says, absolutely. In this important and empowering event, you will not only learn the dynamic at play that may be causing you stress and trauma in your everyday life, you will get access to little-known techniques to begin the process of identifying and then eliminating these earthbound energies. Gain access to the tools to put your life back on track, free from the grip of unsettled spiritual energies. Join Barry Littleton and me, Alexis Brooks, your course guide and workshop moderator, for this revelational presentation and workshop. Understanding the Unseen Realms. Gain knowledge about and protection from earthbound spirits. It's time to know the truth about what's really happening right here on our planet. And once you do, you can eliminate the interference and finally put yourself back in the driver's seat of your own life.